Resistance can show up in the times when we need to put ourselves out there. So this could be in asking for something at work, it might be with dating, or it could be with putting things on social media. Resistance can come from a fear of being seen, a fear of failure, and it can even come from a fear of success if in the past we felt like we've had to hide ourselves in order to keep the peace or to please other people. If this resistance increases our fear and we detect it as a threat, it can block our creative expression. This can increase fight, flight, or freeze, and it can stop us from doing our best work. It's normal to experience nervousness as we move outside of our comfort zone, but resistance adds a second layer to fear and doubt that can amplify the responses of our nervous system. It's normal to want to move away from sensations and things that are uncomfortable, but resistance can make us swing up to the highs of anxiety, reactivity, and anger, and down to the lows of shame, feeling helpless, and feeling stuck. So let's have a look at the different ways that resistance can affect the states of your nervous system. So in the flight state, we may find it hard to be still and to focus. The mobilizing energy may make us get up and away from where we're working, and we find it difficult to sit down at our laptop. It can be difficult to concentrate, and our thoughts might become faster and erratic. This flight energy makes us hurry and feel like we need to go faster, so we may rush through tasks on our to-do list and make mistakes, or we may find ourselves multitasking. We may also use things like social media to distract ourselves, or find ourselves doing jobs that are less meaningful and important, such as emptying our email inbox. Later on in the day, if we're still in that state of flight, we may find it hard to fall asleep or to stay asleep. If that flight energy continues to escalate, we may move into a state of panic, have a racing heart, shortness of breath, and even a queasy tummy. If we move into the state of fight, we don't necessarily want to run away, but the mobilizing energy still makes it hard for us to focus. When we detect this fear and the resistance amplifies it, we then may interpret this as a threat, which releases neurotransmitters and hormones through our body. We can feel this as tension in our shoulders or heat moving through our chest. We may also feel this as a racing heart, we may feel a flushed face, or like an internal volcano is about to erupt. We can find ourselves getting frustrated with technology and maybe giving up on doing the things that we need to. We may find that we blame or criticize or take our frustration out on other people. If we don't get to discharge this activation, eventually it can lead to things like tension and pain in our jaw and in our neck and shoulders. Our thoughts become chaotic, and it's hard for us to work towards our goals when we're in the state of fight. We often react rather than taking action that's in line with our values. The third state the resistance may lead us into is a freeze response, and here we can feel our energy drop. This makes it hard to focus and also to finish all the tasks that we might need to do. This state can lead to extreme procrastination, and this doesn't mean that we're being lazy. It's a physiological response of our nervous system that's responding in a way to threat, and it doesn't mean that we're weak or we're not trying hard enough. If in our past we often felt helpless in stressful times, this may be the way that our nervous system is continuing to respond to stresses today. We know that shame maps to this state, so this may be the times where we want to hide and not be seen, and making that phone call or putting our content out there to be seen by the world may feel like it's just too much when we're in that state of freeze. If we continue to spend long periods of time in this state, it can lead to things like chronic fatigue syndrome, ongoing depression, and that feeling of flatness and like we're stuck. So the solution is to build autonomic awareness and recognize when resistance might be at play. We can start to recognize the sensations that come along with it. So say for instance, in the fight state, we can feel the sensations of heat and tension through our shoulders and chest. Or maybe when we move into the freeze state, we can feel that hollow ache of shame. We can also look at the way that it shows up in our posture. So often when we move into the freeze state, we'll feel our spine slump, our shoulders round as we try to hide and withdraw. Or maybe when we move into the fight state, we may become rigid and create a lot of tension in our body as a way to try and push away those sensations and emotions that feel overwhelming. We can look at the way that we might act when we're resisting that fear and doubt. So where we try and hurry through our to-do list or get really busy with completing tasks. Investigating the thoughts and beliefs that are driving this fear and resistance is one of the most helpful things you can do. Fear thoughts will often be ruminating and looping, and once you write them down on paper, they often lose some of the power they have over you. These could be thoughts like, I'm going to fail, or I always fall short, or I don't deserve to be successful. As you build this autonomic awareness, sometimes you can see that these are patterns from the past that your brain is now taking and putting onto the present moment, and it may not actually be a true reflection of what's happening today. The other key that can really help is engaging the vagus nerve and bringing self-regulation to your nervous system in the heat of the moment. You can learn to work with your nervous system to reduce resistance, and so that you can work towards your goals with confidence, trust, and clarity. If you'd like to learn more about how you can get started working with your nervous system, I'll pop the details below of our upcoming training.